Greetings, I'm Catherine of Sky, and I hope to make your day refreshingly Swedish. Today I'm going to react to a video about a topic we talked about the other day about boycotting American brands. And I wanted to look at this video because they're talking about Europe and how they are reacting and stuff like that. So let's get going and see what they're going to say. The maker of this video is Global Village, and you can find the link to the video in the description.
American companies hard. Boycotts of U.S. goods are sweeping across Europe, Canada, and beyond, fueled by outrage over Donald Trump's policies, including tariffs and geopolitical moves like the push to own Greenland. From tech giants to fast food chains.
Well, not only that, but also the Ukraine war that they threatened to pull out. They took away the intelligence, and it's like, okay, wow, that's pretty rough.
Some of America's biggest brands are feeling the heat as consumers turn away in protest. In this video, we'll count down the top 10 companies collapsing fast due to these boycotts based on recent news and social media trends. Stick around to see which brands are struggling and why this could reshape global trade. 1. Tesla. Tesla, the electric vehicle pioneer led by Elon Musk, is facing a devastating global boycott that's shaking its foundations. In Europe, sales have crashed with a staggering 72% drop in Australia.
It's like embarrassing to own a Tesla right now. Because it used to be the car, everybody wanted one. Everybody was excited to get one or try to get one. In Europe, especially here in Sweden, electric vehicles are dominant. You see much more electric vehicles than you do regular cars. And that's what makes cities like Stockholm have so much less pollution than American cities, and also they're quieter. And for Tesla to be kind of shunned and boycotted and almost kicked out of the market, it's quite severe. It's quite severe.
And a 76% decline in Germany, according to recent trade reports. Musk's close ties to Donald Trump, including his role as a federal advisor, have made Tesla a lightning rod for outrage. In France, Denmark, and other nations.
A lightning rod for outrage. What a great phrase. And I think that's the big picture. Like, everybody is outraged. He has caused an emotional reaction. This is not just government against government. This is people deciding to take a stand against what they feel is not right.
Social media campaigns like Boycott USA and No Tesla are trending, with millions of posts urging consumers to ditch the brand. The company's stock has taken a hit, and its market share is shrinking as European governments encourage local alternatives. Analysts warn that without a swift change in strategy, Tesla's dominance in the EV market could erode.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of news about that, not just in Europe, but also in China as well. People are shunning Tesla, and I know in China they have their own brands that are much cheaper. They don't have the status symbol thing of Tesla, but people are like, well, we don't want that status symbol anyway because Elon Musk is a horrible person. That's how they feel. And the same thing in Europe. We have our own cars that are electric. Tesla is not the one and only electric car maker. And I think there's a lot of hubris with that on Elon Musk's part. He thinks he's the only one in the world. But I think the world is showing him, no, we have alternatives.
Especially as boycotts spread to Asia and Latin. 2.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, a global beverage giant, is reeling from boycotts that have turned it into a symbol of American excess.
I haven't heard of
France,
this one.
Where more than 60% of consumers support shunning U.S. products, Coca-Cola's iconic red cans are being replaced by local sodas on store shelves.
Yeah, that's quite funny. The French always get up in arms, especially against Americans. They are quite quick. They are very trigger happy on protesting and things like that, which is kind of an interesting thing about their society. I think Swedes are a lot more. They kind of wait to see what's going on. And there's no emotional craziness or uproar like like the French do. The French are very quick to protest things, and sometimes that can be a really good thing. Like in this case, I think that Americans should have protested a lot earlier and a lot stronger, because right now it's too little too late. Hopefully it's not too late, But anyway, let's see what else is going on with Coca-Cola, because I haven't heard of
Backlash
this
stems from
specific
Trump's tariffs
boycott.
and perceived U.S. arrogance, with campaigns like Choose Local gaining traction.
Yeah,
In
choose
Denmark
local.
and Canada, sales have slumped as consumers swap Coke for regional brands, driven by social media influencers and activist groups. Financial reports show double-digit declines in European markets, and the company is scrambling to salvage its image through PR campaigns, but the damage is deep and widespread.
Yeah, deep and widespread. I think that characterizes the entire Trump tariff situation. People are not just like, oh, that's a terrible tax. They're like, let's stop buying this stuff. And choosing local is quite important. I think America has a lot of ego involved in things, thinking the world cannot survive without American goods. And that's simply not true. In Europe, we make pretty much everything we need. We do import a lot of American things, but a lot of those things are simply because they're fun or cool or whatever. If we had to survive on our own produce, like food and electronics and cars and stuff like that, we can survive. You know, American stuff, it's fun stuff, but we don't need America. And I think Trump thinks the opposite, that, oh my God, the world cannot survive without American goods. You know, with the tariffs, it's been calculated that he has designed, Donald Trump has designed the tariffs based on the trade deficits that the U.S. has with other countries. And I think with those tariffs, he feels like, you know, Europe has nowhere else to sell their goods, and so they have to sell us, even if there's a huge tariff on their stuff. So they're going to capitulate and sell the goods at a cheaper price to make up for the cost of the tariff, so that it doesn't impact the American people as much. But that's simply not true. Europeans are not going to reduce their prices by 25 to 30%. That's ridiculous. Well, up to 50%, 75%. Oh my gosh, he's going nuts. They're just not going to do that. American stuff is fun stuff, sure. But we can easily boycott all of it, and we don't need it. That's the situation in Europe right now. And that's how Europeans feel. Okay, you're going to put a tariff on stuff? We're not going to buy your stuff. We don't care. We just don't care. We're not crying in a corner. Oh, sad, we can't get an American whatever. We're not crying. We're just like, okay, you want to be a bully? Go and sit in your corner. We don't have anything to do with you. Bye-bye. Talk to the hand kind of thing.
Outlets, with many closing early due to plummeting customer numbers.
Okay.
Canadian consumers are also turning to local burger joints, angered by Trump's trade policies and the U.S.'s aggressive stance.
It's funny. They talk about people going local. I have a McDonald's near me, and the thing I like most about McDonald's, and don't tease me, you can't tease me for it. Okay, it's fine. I don't like super crispy French fries. I like them when they're a little bit limp and wiggly. And that's why I buy McDonald's French fries, is because I like the limp and wiggliness. In Europe, it is not allowed to fry them with corn syrup, so they don't have that addictive sweet thing that's in American fries. So they taste a little bit different, but they're not that oh my God, I gotta eat 10 boxes of them. I do enjoy the flavor, and I like the texture. And but my McDonald's near me is quite far. It's too far to walk. It's a couple kilometers away. And with my paralysis of my leg, partial paralysis, it's just too far for me to go. So I have to order meal delivery services. We have one called Foodora here. And it's very expensive. It ends up being to get one meal, it's $30. And that's way expensive. So I've actually just been going around and asking my local places, can you fry the fries a little bit less crispy? And you know what? They do. So it's much cheaper for me. It's very inexpensive to just pick up stuff. And of course, with those food delivery apps, they boost the prices like crazy. But I really didn't think of McDonald's as an American company to boycott, but I guess I should. There are lots of local places to eat, and I'm going to start doing that.
In the U.S., some regions report boycotts over perceived corporate alignment with Trump's agenda.
Oh my God. Okay, so that's something I did not think about, that Americans would boycott McDonald's. Ooh, that would be serious, man. That would be really serious, for the business.
Sales data reveals
Wow.
a 15% drop in global
15%.
same-store sales, raising alarms about long-term brand loyalty. The company is rolling out discounts,
Yep.
but experts say the damage to its image may be irreversible.
McDonald's is quintessentially American. And when you look at how long it takes to create brand loyalty, to get people coming back and back and back, and then you just destroy it. Actually, McDonald's didn't necessarily destroy it themselves. Trump destroyed it. Trump put a black mark on every single American business, put a bad name on every single American business because he can't behave himself. He cannot act like an adult. And he is chaotic and he's crazy. So that's very, very bad for the image of all of these American businesses that they're talking about, all of them plus more, plus all the businesses in the U.S. And it's really a shame that had to happen like this. It's just unbelievable.
For Netflix,
Okay.
the streaming giant, is caught.
I know that a few weeks ago, we had a boycott in Sweden of let's boycott Netflix for a week. They didn't talk about unsubscribing or anything like that, but just don't watch it for a week.
In the boycott storm due to its American roots and cultural dominance.
Yeah.
In Denmark, thousands of subscribers are canceling in favor of local streaming services
wow,
like
they're
Viaplay,
canceling.
fueled by anger over Trump's policies
Right.
and the U.S.'s international moves. Social media groups with over 100,000 members are urging people to ditch U.S. platforms, citing cultural imperialism and economic nationalism.
Cultural imperialism. I think that's a BS thing, to be honest. I think that's bullshit because people choose what they want to watch. If they choose to watch Netflix in English, that is their choice. They want to have more American culture in their lives. I have a choice here. I have Swedish TV, which is provided free on my TV, and I can watch programs in Swedish. Now, I don't understand much of the language yet. I'm still learning Swedish, but I can choose to watch those programs instead, and sometimes I do. I watch with English subtitles or Swedish subtitles to learn better. I also watch Swedish programs on YouTube. So the cultural imperialism, I'm not buying that. That's silly. It's a choice thing. Totally a choice thing.
In France and Germany, Netflix's subscriber growth has stalled, with competitors gaining ground.
Surprised.
The company's leadership is monitoring the situation closely, but early reports suggest significant revenue losses in key markets. 5. Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
The e-commerce behemoth, is facing boycotts on both sides of the Atlantic. In Europe,
Wow,
consumers
really?
are using apps to avoid U.S.-based retailers, angered by Trump's tariffs and Amazon's perceived role in supporting U.S. policies.
Yeah.
In the U.S., 20% of consumers plan to shun the platform for aligning with Trump's agenda.
20%. That's huge in the U.S. I wouldn't have expected that in the U.S. I know here there's a big push to boycott Amazon. And I have done my best to do that. I am buying local. I am buying from brick and mortar stores around me, or I'm just buying from online Swedish stores. There's plenty of stores that have exactly what I want at almost the same price as Amazon. I would say maybe they're a little bit more expensive, but we're talking about maybe, for an example, a $15 item that's $1 more expensive than Amazon. So it's not a huge increase, and it's worth it to not give money to Amazon.
According to a recent survey. In Canada,
Well, not only that, but in the U.S., they treat their workers really badly. There have been multiple news articles and programs and TV shows about how badly Amazon workers are treated. I don't know the situation in Europe. I would imagine it's better because we have laws against that sort of thing. But in America, Amazon people, and I've even talked to some people who used to work for Amazon when I lived in Wyoming, and they just said it's like hell. It's like
Canadian
working in hell.
movement is hitting Amazon's sales hard, with local e-commerce platforms gaining traction. The company's growth rate has slowed, and analysts predict a potential restructuring if the boycotts persist, threatening its global dominance. 6. Target, a retail staple in the U.S., is under fire both domestically and internationally.
Okay.
In the U.S., a 40-day fast by activists and churches, involving over 150,000 people, is protesting the company's rollback of DI policies. Abroad, European and Canadian consumers are rejecting
Diversity and inclusivity. or inclusiveness. I don't know how it's phrased. I heard it's not just DI, but DCI or DEI. I think it's DEI or not DIE, not die. Target is a store that I didn't really go to very much in the U.S. I tended to go to Walmart as it was a little bit cheaper for stuff. But Target is huge in the U.S. They have like clothing and electronics and body products, makeup. They don't have food, but they do have popcorn at the entrance. The popcorn is quite good. It really surprises me that Americans would boycott Target. That's
Target's
pretty
products
big.
as part of the broader boycott of American goods. Foot traffic in stores has dropped and online sales are sluggish, with competitors like Walmart and local...
This is funny, Driscoll's. We have this brand here in Sweden. When I was in the US, I always thought, oh, it's such a homey, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, the logo always was like, oh, this is like a local farm kind of thing, but it's not. It's like an international company, and we get this brand here in Sweden as well.
Brands gaining ground. The company's leadership is facing pressure to address the backlash, but recovery could take years. 7. Starbucks. Starbucks, the coffee chain...
Okay, so Starbucks, I don't think we even have Starbucks here. There might be 1 or 2 stores in the entire country. We have something called Espresso House. So we do not have Starbucks. We have Espresso House, which is great because they serve local favorites, the different kinds of cakes and what do you call it, pastries that Swedes like. Starbucks in the U.S. always, oh my God, sometimes I tried to order something. I have a sweet tooth, but man, their stuff was so sickly sweet. It was terrible. Even the coffee was way sweet. So, of course, you can adjust the coffee as you like, tell them to put less sugar, whatever. But yeah, we don't have Starbucks. And so I want to see if Americans are boycotting Starbucks. Let's see what they say.
Synonymous with American culture is facing a double whammy of boycotts.
Okay.
In Europe and Canada, consumers are shunning its stores over Trump's policies, with French and Danish shoppers favoring local cafes.
Okay.
In the
I'm surprised that French would even go to Starbucks. They have a general dislike of anything American anyway. So I'm really surprised that there exists Starbucks stores in France.
U.S., activists are targeting Starbucks for scaling back diversity initiatives,
All right.
with hashtags like boycott Starbucks trending. Sales have declined by 12% in key markets, and the company is launching PR campaigns to win back trust. However, the damage to its brand reputation...
I was really annoyed. I have another video that's coming out where I talk about some Swedish news from news articles. Oh, shoot. Whoops. I hit a key. No. From news articles here in Sweden. So look for that video. Because there's a company here in Sweden who has bowed to Trump and has removed DEI initiatives in their mission statement and all that. And I am so ashamed of that Swedish company. Like, how dare you? Because Swedes, our culture is we stand up for what's right. And that's another thing with Tesla in Sweden, is that Tesla management refused to allow Tesla workers in Sweden to unionize. And whether you believe in unions or not, I know that there's part of America where they don't. I grew up in states where they didn't. But in Sweden, it's our culture to use unions. And unions help us make sure that everybody is paid fairly, everybody gets fair vacation time and all of that kind of stuff. And so Tesla really had a big problem. I don't know if they resolved it or not, but for over a year, they didn't let them unionize. And yeah, that's another big problem with Tesla in Sweden. So Swedes were not really happy with Tesla.
Launching PR campaigns to win back trust. However, the damage to its brand reputation is significant, and analysts warn of long-term consequences. 8. Walmart. Walmart, the retail giant, is another casualty of the boycott wave.
Okay.
In the U.S., activists are calling for a boycott over DEI policy changes, while in Europe and Canada, consumers are avoiding its products as part of the anti-American sentiment. The buy local movement is gaining steam, with shoppers opting for regional retailers.
Okay, so I watched this video yesterday about how big box stores like Walmart and Costco are actually bankrupting American cities. It has to do with how much they pay per acre of all of the sewer and water and traffic and all those kind of city things to support these big box stores who pay less taxes per acre than any regular, like a smaller store. And in Sweden, we don't really have many of these big box stores. We have IKEA, but we don't have something like Walmart. We have local grocery stores. If you want paper and pens, you go to a bookstore. If you want a bike, you go to a bike store. If you want electronics, we have an electronics store. And the electronics store, they have like some kinds of like organizing things, as well as IKEA has organizing things. There's some like crossover between things, but we usually have more specialty stores, and we don't have anything like Walmart. And I'm actually really proud of that in Sweden, because places like Walmart, they actually, to get people in the store, as well as the other big box stores, they actually sell at a loss some products to get people in with their super sale. And that is unfair competition to smaller stores who really can't afford to do things like that. So here in Sweden, we have fair prices for a lot of things. You've heard me maybe talk about in my other Swedish videos about how we have our cereal aisle has maybe in the small stores, 6 different cereals, but there's one of each. We don't have 6 brands of each. We don't have all of this meaningless competition, which is all price fixed anyway, because all of the cereals are made in the same manufacturing plant. So there isn't any competition. It's just perceived. But in Sweden, we don't need that. The prices are fair. I have not paid more than, I don't know, $3 for a box of cereal or $4. Actually, there is one box of cereal that I've seen that's $6, and that's Oreo cereal imported from the US. I don't know if it's actually obviously they import it, so it's legal, but like the sugar content is out of this world on that. I've not bought it, but like that is the most expensive cereal I have seen in Sweden. Otherwise, the prices are just fair. Why can't America just do fair prices, cut out all the meaningless competition, so you don't have a cereal aisle that's like 10 miles long? Why do you need that? Like, it's not even real competition. It's just meaningless fluff. And I think there's a lot of problems with the American shopping system and the way that people perceive prices and the way things are. I was always taught when I lived in America, oh yeah, if you don't have competition, the prices will get out of control. No, they don't. Not in a civilized country like Sweden. In truth, I mean, the thing is, if people do not have a fair price for cereal, consumers have a different breakfast. They have eggs, or they have sandwiches, or they have waffles, or whatever. There's many choices you can have for breakfast. If cereal is not cheap enough, then people won't buy it. That's the simple truth about it. So that's how it works in a civilized country. All right, let's see what else they say.
Walmart's sales growth has slowed, and its stock price has dipped, prompting concerns about its future in global markets. The company is exploring new marketing strategies, but the road to recovery looks challenging.
Yeah, the road to recovery.
Ferrari, U.S. operations. Ferrari, while an Italian brand, is feeling the pinch through its U.S. operations and sales.
Okay.
Trump's auto tariffs have angered European consumers who see Ferrari's American ties as a liability. In France and Germany,
this is somewhat surprising to me because I always thought that Ferrari was like Italian. So I'm not going to comment much on this because I don't know anything about cars.
Boycotts are targeting
except for
luxury
Tesla.
brands associated with
Wow.
10 Nestle, U.S. division.
Nestle. Okay, so this is another company that I thought was not American. I thought Nestle was like Belgian. I don't know. Sorry. Somebody can tell me in the comments maybe, or I'll look it up later. So this is a surprise. Let's see what they say, because I don't know why would they boycott Nestle. Because in Europe, Nestle has its own European headquarters and makes their own stuff here. Confusion.
Nestle's U.S. division is the latest target of consumer wrath, with boycotts focusing on brands like Kit Kat and Purina.
Okay.
Activists are launching campaigns like the Nestle Blackout.
We don't have Kit Kat here. We have our own brand.
urging consumers to avoid its products over DEI concerns and its American ties. In Europe, its U.S.-linked goods are being shunned, with sales dropping in major markets. The company is facing a reputational crisis, and its global portfolio is at risk. Recovery will require a major overhaul of its public image and market approach. That wraps up our countdown of the top 10 companies.
Interesting. Well, this was a really interesting video. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, this is by Global Village. I've linked the video in the description below. That was really cool, really interesting. Kind of confusing about Ferrari and Nestle because I think that they are originally European companies. But yeah, the rest of it, I think overall, the thing I was most shocked about is that Americans are boycotting American brands as well, like McDonald's and Walmart and stuff like that. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But it's major, it's severe, but it's a good thing. People have to show their displeasure with the situation in every way they can. And a lot of politicians own these companies, or they are affected, or they have stocks in these companies and stuff. So I think it's a good form of peaceful protest to boycott companies. Of course, we don't want to see any kind of violence. I don't believe in violence, but, things have to change in America, and it's good that Americans are finally standing up. It's good that Europeans are standing up for these things, so hopefully we can see some change in the future. So thank you so very much for joining me. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time.
Vamos a